Tableau software is a totally new approach to business intelligence. It's designed for anyone who has questions about data. Tableau Desktop is a drag-and-drop product people of any skill level can use to visualize data on the fly at 10 times the speed of a traditional business intelligence program. With Tableau Server, people can publish and share interactive dashboards and reports, and then work with them on any web browser or on a mobile device. Today, I'm going to show you the power of these two tools by playing the part of a senior manager at a chain of retail stores. In order to make my target profit goals for the year, I know I'll need to make some changes, but I'm not sure yet what those changes should be. I have a lot of questions about how my stores are performing. Let's begin in Tableau Desktop. Tableau Desktop allows you to connect directly to any of the data sources you see here, including others through ODBC. You can also connect directly to Microsoft Access, Excel, or a CSV file. In Tableau 8, you now have the option to do direct connectors to Google Analytics and Salesforce. Unlike with other business intelligence tools, people who have questions about data don't have to rely on IT or complex scripting to connect to their database. I simply enter the server name, my user information, connect to the database, and select the tables I want to explore. In this case, I'm going to connect to an Excel file that I know has the information I need about sales at my company. Connecting to an Excel file is even easier than connecting to a database. You just navigate to your workbook, select the worksheets you want to use, and click OK. In this case, I know that the order sheet contains the numbers about sales and profit that I'm going to need, so I'm simply going to connect to that table. Tableau is now giving me the option to connect live to my database or to import all the data. This option is given whenever you connect to a data set. It allows you to connect to a high-performance database if you have one, or bring the data directly into Tableau's fast data engine. In this case, I'm going to connect live. Once I've connected, Tableau separates my data into dimensions and measures. Dimensions are categorical fields, like customer name, customer segment, region, and state. Measures are numerical fields, like discount, profit, and sales. Typically, when you're using a measure, you're either aggregating it, like a sum or an average, or you're doing a calculation with it. In order to visualize my data, all I have to do is drag a field onto one of the shelves. Each of these shelves has a different purpose. For instance, the column shelf corresponds to the x-axis of your visualization, whereas the row shelf corresponds to the y-axis. As you might expect, the color shelf, label shelf, and size shelf correspond to the color of the visualization, the labels that are on the visualization, and the size of the marks on the visualization. The first analysis I'm going to do today is look at my sales data over time, as you see here. I want to understand if there's a cyclicality or seasonality in our sales and what can be done to alleviate it. We can see that sales have gone down between 2009 and 2011, but they're on the uptick for 2012. One powerful feature of Tableau is the ability to work flexibly with dates. I can specify many different options for how I'd like to see the dates. I can drill down to quarter, month, week, or day, as far as I want, and then using the Undo button, I can go back to the level of detail I prefer. Dates are a special type of field, so we treat them specially. We don't expect you to have to do a lot of work formatting your dates. With Tableau, you bring the dates in and you use them exactly as you'd expect to. Part of this date flexibility is the ability to switch from a continuous view of dates, like the one you saw before, to a discrete view of dates, like this one. Here, we're summing the entire data set for January in all years, We're doing the same for February, and so on. This view is particularly useful for the analysis I'm trying to do because I'm trying to understand the cyclicality of my data. As we might expect from a retailer, Q4 is particularly strong. May through July, though, are comparatively weak. As a manager, I want to understand if there are any particular product categories behind this cyclicality. To answer my question, I want to view this same data set by product category. To do this, I just drag product category onto color, and Tableau understands that I'm trying to separate my view by the 3 categories I use in my data set. Now in my view, I can see the sales figures and the cyclicality for furniture, office supplies, and technology. I can see that furniture has a pretty high cyclicality, and it may be contributing to the dip we see between May and August. Now, we're looking at aggregated data for all years here, so I want to confirm that furniture's cyclicality holds true across all the years, and that there's not a single year at the root of the problem. Okay. When I highlight furniture, I can see that the cyclicality is pretty consistent across all years, with upticks in the fourth quarter and a relative lull in the summer. This analysis will be useful in deciding how to stock my shelves in order to minimize the bottom line impact of this cyclicality. I want to make some changes to this view before I share it with others. For instance, I'd like to change the month names so that just the first letter of the month is displayed. Tableau makes it easy to do this. While Tableau makes it easy to explore data visually, maybe some people in my organization prefer to work with data in a crosstab. So, with just a couple clicks, I can duplicate this analysis as a crosstab and share it that way too. So I'm going to rename this sheet Crosstab and rename the original Trends Over Time and move on with my analysis. Before I move on to the next analysis, I want to make a change to my metadata layer. In Tableau, I can change my metadata however I want, and it won't write back to the database. This is great because it allows me to change and view my data exactly as I want to, but I don't have to worry about causing problems in any production systems. Here you can see I have order ID listed as a measure. Even though it is a number, it's not really a measure. For instance, I'd never take the sum of multiple order IDs or take the average over a group of them. It's categorical in nature, so I'm going to drag it up onto dimensions. Again, I haven't changed anything in the production database. I'm just telling Tableau to treat this piece of information differently. I'd also like to combine product name, product category, and product subcategory into a hierarchy called product. Some cubes include this functionality, but in Tableau, we give it to you with any database you connect to. I can also change the alias of any individual item within my fields. For instance, I can change technology to technology and peripherals, and that will update this item's name whenever I use that field in Tableau. Again, I have not impacted the underlying database. Now that I've answered my question about cyclicality, I'd like to ask a question about geography. Are our least profitable stores concentrated in a certain state or region? Geography is a special type of data, so we treat geographical information, especially in Tableau. However, you can use these fields the same way you'd use any other type of field, just by dragging and dropping. Tableau's built-in geocoding allows you to visualize geographic data immediately without tracking down the latitude and longitude data yourself. Tableau automatically recognizes the names and coordinates of countries, states, counties, cities, even congressional districts. There's a lot you can do with maps in Tableau. For instance, when I drag out a measure like profit onto color, Tableau automatically turns it into a filled map, indicating by color the profitability of a state. This is possible at all area levels of geocoding, so I could look at it by country or city or even congressional district as well. When I drag out a second measure, like sales, Tableau changes the visualization so that it can represent both pieces of information. The size of the circles or marks represents the sales in that state, while the color represents profit. To make this a little bit clearer, I'm going to increase the size of the marks and also add a border. That's better. It looks like overall, most states are doing pretty well, but we can see right away that Montana has negative profit. I'm going to try to tell an even more useful story by changing this color palette a little bit. As you can see, there are lots of ways to control my color palette in Tableau. Seeing the profitability at the state level is helpful, but I'm guessing I might find more unprofitable stores if I look at a lower level of detail. I'm going to bring zip code onto my level of detail so I can visualize the information at that level. Although this view is good, I can change, modify, zoom, and edit this view however I want with just a couple of clicks. Right away, I spot some zip codes in Vermont, New York, and maybe in Maine that are exceedingly unprofitable. I can hover over these zip codes and get more information in the tooltip. We'll dig deeper into these problems as we get further in the analysis. I'm going to zoom out and rename the sheet Profit by Zip Code, and then move on with my analysis. Now that I've looked at trends over time and profit by zip code, I have questions about how my stores are performing by product category and subcategory. Sometimes when you're creating a visualization, you'll know which fields you care about, but you don't necessarily know how you want to display them. For these situations, Tableau includes Show Me. Show Me is a tool that helps you select a visualization type based on the fields you select. So if I select product category and then hold the control key down and select profit, Show Me automatically highlights the visualization types that will work well with this data. So with this data, I could use a bubble chart, a pie chart, a tree map, or several others, but I'm going to select a bar chart. I've used Show Me to create this visualization, but now I'm free to edit it however I want. Now I'd like to look at this information by region to see if there's a pattern. I see right away that furniture in the East is a particular problem, but I wonder if it's furniture generally or if there's a specific type of product driving this problem. Because I created the category hierarchy earlier, I can click this plus button and drill down, automatically expanding the view. Now it's clear. Tables are driving the profit loss in the East. In fact, tables aren't doing us much good anywhere. I can make this even clearer by dragging region down onto rows. And I can make the view more compact by hiding the header for product category. All of these features, from Show Me to hierarchies to the easy formatting, allows you to visually identify outliers and problem points in your data in ways that may not be obvious in a spreadsheet. I'm going to rename this sheet Profit by Category and move on to my next analysis. I have questions about cost of goods sold, but if I look at my measures, the data I brought in doesn't include this information. Fortunately, Tableau makes it easy to bring in a second data source and combine it with the first. In this case, I'm going to connect to my cost of goods sold data, which is stored in a CSV. When I bring the data in, it appears right alongside my original data set. The first thing I want to look at is the relationship between cost of goods sold and profit. When I view my cost of goods sold data set, I can see that Tableau has automatically linked the two data sets on product category, and I can join on that field. So when I drag out cost of goods sold, I'll be able to see that data for all my different product categories. I'm going to turn this into a single scatter chart and then drill down. Okay, this view is interesting, but I want to switch my axes so I can see if the cost of goods sold has an effect on profit. It's hard to tell still, so I'm going to add a trend line. Okay, it looks like there's a slight downward trend. Profit decreases as cost of goods sold increases. I suspect there's some variation in this trend by region, so I'm going to consider region information in my analysis by dragging it onto color. All right, now it's clear. This downward trend is much more pronounced in the east. In the central and south, we actually see a positive trend. Without writing any code or custom scripts, I brought in a secondary data source and added a really valuable layer of analysis to my visualization. I'll rename this sheet Cost of Goods Sold, and now we'll go ahead and create a dashboard. A dashboard in Tableau is a way to bring in all the different sheets you've created and make them work together in a single analytical view. I can simply drag and drop to bring any of my sheets out onto the visualization. When I bring out a sheet, Tableau shows me exactly where it's going to land. Since my data is on an annual schedule, it would be nice if I could quickly filter the data in my view by year. In Tableau, we allow you to enable this kind of interactivity with a small widget called a quick filter. Once I create a quick filter, I can select from a number of different ways to interact with it, including single value and multiple value types. Now I can go back to my dashboard and show that filter here. At first, the filter will apply only to the worksheet in which I created it, which is sometimes useful, but in this case, I want it to apply to all the worksheets using this data source. I can easily do that. If I wanted to, I could also choose specific worksheets to apply this filter to. Now, all the worksheets on my dashboard update so they're only showing data from 2012. Quick filters are powerful because they allow you to tell a big story in a compact space. Instead of creating multiple reports for this data, quick filters allow any individual to drill down to the data that interests them. Quick filters aren't just available for categorical data. I can also enable them for measures, like sales. But sometimes you don't want to have to include a widget on the dashboard to enable interactivity. You might want people to make selections in one sheet and have other sheets update based on that selection. I can do that easily in Tableau with the Use as Filter option on any worksheet. Now, whenever I make a selection in this sheet, the other sheets in my dashboard will update to reflect the filtered view. Earlier, we were looking at a few stores in the Northeast that were having problems with profitability. Now, we can drill into the profit by category view and learn more about this problem. Again, it looks like tables in the East are causing the problem. Creating a dashboard isn't just about the interactivity. It's also about how you present the interactivity and enable it for use. So oftentimes in presentations, you want to use a title. Let's rename this dashboard Profitability by Store. Now I'll go ahead and turn on Show Title. Tableau automatically uses the dashboard name as the title. In Tableau, all your text is easy to edit. I can change the background color on the title, or on the dashboard as a whole. I can also do something like add a border. The same is true for my quick filters or on an individual worksheet level. I also want to move my date filter to the top of my dashboard so it's a little bit easier to use. And maybe I want to change the title so that it's a call to action. Great. When you create a dashboard in Tableau, you're creating an interactive app that allows many people to view and ask questions about the information that's relevant to them. You don't have to create multiple reports for different people and different questions. In many cases, a single visualization can help lots of people answer the questions that are important to them. Now that I've created this interactive application, I want to share it with people in my organization so they can use it too. As I was explaining earlier, Tableau Server can be installed on any Windows network server, so your own team can manage and secure it. In fact, Tableau Server will support your existing security and data architecture. You can cluster it to scale up to as many users or as much data as you need. Now that I've created this interactive application, I want to share it with people in my organization so they can use it too. As I was explaining earlier, Tableau Server can be installed on any Windows network server, so your own team can manage it and secure it. In fact, Tableau Server will support your existing security and data architecture. You can cluster it to scale up to as many users or as much data as you need. So now, I'm going to name my workbook Profitability. And before I share it, I can control exactly who can see it and what permissions they have, leveraging existing groups within my Windows authority. Now I'm going to publish my dashboard. Once I've published, I can preview the view on Tableau Server and then open it in my own browser. This view is interactive, just like it would be in Tableau Desktop. I can now share this visualization with anybody who has a web browser. No special equipment needed. This browser interface works on any web browser, including a browser on an iPad or other tablet. Other people can also view the visualization by logging into Tableau Server itself. They'll be able to view all the visualizations that have been published as long as they have the correct permissions. Another nice feature of Tableau Server is the ability to filter down to a particular view within the dashboard, whichever view matters most to you, and have Tableau Server remember your changes. So the next time you return to this dashboard, you'll see the exact same view you saved before. Because you logged into Server using your secure credentials, the choices only impact your view of the data. Others inside your organization can select their own views. If you're using a database with your visualization, a nice feature is the ability to refresh that live connection within Tableau Server. This way, if your data changes frequently, you know you're always working with real-time data. If you ever do need to change the view, you can simply republish over it using the same name. You can also subscribe to a particular view using email. The browser functionality in Tableau extends beyond just a laptop. Your team can access their Tableau visualizations from your secure server anywhere, like on this iPad. Here, I've logged in securely with a web browser, but I could also use Tableau's native app for iPad or Android. I can filter, zoom, or even select. As you can see, Tableau is native and beautiful on the iPad, and I can explore this visualization the same way I'd explored it on my laptop. In summary, Tableau Desktop and Tableau Server are the complete business intelligence solution for anyone who needs answers to questions. With Tableau Desktop and Server, anyone can explore data with beautiful visualizations and then share and consume that insight quickly and on the go.